Thursday, September 1st. Guys, I hope you studied for your test. I hope you're ready for your test. There's really not a lot of any surprises on this test. I told you what would be on here, and so hopefully you studied and you're prepared for the test. Let's go ahead and look at some announcements very quickly. If you've done your review sheet, turn them in. Now, 4 of you already turned them in. And I told you who you are. I've already given you credit for those, so please do not turn yours in again, okay? But for everybody else who has not yet turned your review sheet in, please turn it in now with your name up top. If you've done the entire review sheet, if you've not done the entire review sheet, then please do not turn it in, okay? There's no need to do that. So go ahead and work on that now while I continue to talk. There's no incompletes to talk about, so we're not going to worry about that. Our schedule for today is obviously taking your Chapter 1 test. That is what we're going to do today. Before we go over your test, I want to quickly address one topic. I want to remind you students and encourage you students to ask questions during class. And I've had a parent contact me about concerns about this, and I want to remind you students, anytime you need Mrs. Carroll to pause a video during teaching or during homework or to ask a question, please do that, okay? That option is there for you. And Miss Carroll, I'm sure, does a great job. She's being paid to be in the classroom. She does not mind doing that, okay? So ask her questions, and when you need her to pause the video or back it up at different times when I'm teaching, feel free to have her do that, okay? At this time, go ahead and pause the video, pass out the test, and then restart the video. Okay, let's go ahead and go over your test, okay? Now, look at numbers 1 through 6. Numbers 1 through 6 are simply fill in the blank with the correct word, okay? If you use a different word than what I have in my answer key, as long as it means the same thing, I have no problem with that, okay? So, numbers 1 through 6, fill in the blank with the correct word. Numbers 7 through 10, just like your last quiz that you took. I want you to look at each figure and decide whether it's rotational, whether it has rotational symmetry, vertical symmetry, horizontal symmetry, or no symmetry. So down below 7, 8, 9, and 10, you will see 4 blanks. That is where you write your answer. And some of these might have more than one answer. Some of them might have no symmetry at all. Okay, so that's numbers 7 through 10. Number 11. I want you to look at those two linear equations and decide whether the graphs of those two lines would be parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Now, you really don't need to graph those to answer the question. You could just look at the slope and figure out whether or not the graphs of those lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Now, if you want to graph them, that's fine, but you don't need to. Numbers 12, 13, 14, and 15, just simply find the slope of those 4 lines. Find the slope of each one of those lines, numbers 12 through 15. Now students, notice on numbers 16, 17, and 18, I ask you to look back up at the slopes that you just found, okay? So number 16, look back up at numbers 12 and 13 and decide whether those lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Number 17, you look back at numbers 13 and 14 and decide whether the two lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. And then for number 18, you look back at numbers 14 and 15 and decide, look at the slopes of numbers 14 and 15 and decide whether those two lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay? And then last 4 are simply the constructions that you learned in class. And hopefully you know how to do these. Do not erase any markings that you make. Leave all the markings that you make with your compass and straight edge, because that's how I grade those. I have to make sure you're not trying to cheat and not do them the right way. And I can tell pretty well by looking at your work. So make sure you do not erase any markings. Okay, that's it. Go ahead and get started on your test. Have a great day. Contact me if you have any questions.